3.9 on the clock. Wemby, Sohan. And that will send it to overtime as we go to the extra session. Tip comes off to the Rockets.
We'll send you out to L.A. right now. Brian Seaman, Jim Jackson on the call.
In this league for 20+ years, doing whatever he wants. And we'll talk more about him.
Year 29 and Finney Ransom. Year 6. All the pieces in place. We tip it up. Wembanyama. He's going to win every jump ball this year for sure.
The opening tip. Let's send it out to Kevin Ray and Eddie Johnson for the call. We'll see you at the half.
Mitchell, and away we go from downtown Phoenix.
He said it's just so weird. He said it's wonderful to be back, but what a great guy, a heck of a player. As Pop said, improved in some aspect every year. To overtime. Eldon Johnson, Trey Jones.
So it would be quite a feat for Rick Carlisle, Quinn, to get his 900th win against the guy that is #1 in the NBA.
Well, it would be something. I mean, but the truth is, I don't think anyone of them care about that. They just want to try to get a win here.
This is only his 8th game of his young career. He's had some brilliant games. He's had some games where he's struggled, as all rookies do. Absolutely. Even the most gifted of the rookies.
No, you're absolutely right, Mike.
Gobert has kind of returned to Rudy of old as the Stifle Tower, rebounder, shot blocker. Last year, I think he tried to fit a lot of different roles with Minnesota.
And grind opponents down.
Those that are a regular part of the party from Miami is tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut. We'll tell you that their victory yesterday in Atlanta without a couple of guys, including Butler and Hero.
Backup point guard. It is Holmgren and Wembanyama. They tip it up, and it is the Thunder who control the opening tip.
You know, you go through the lumps your first time through the playoffs.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you can't make that feel like you did something. You had a great year, but now you want to turn in winning a lot of games.
It was an honest assessment of how he feels. Can't knock the guy for it.
But you know what it reminded me of? A little bit of Manu. Manu was never afraid to tell somebody.
Right.
Ran roughshod over the Spurs, winning by 40. They bullied him. 123-83 was the final in that one.
Zubats is a beast to stop underneath anyways. And the Clippers did a nice job putting him or moving Terrence Mann away from the basket.
An in-season tournament Friday night. The Warriors trying to stay alive in their group. And Golden State wins the tip.
Well, listen, this just like we're trying to figure out our bench. He's trying to figure out a new team with a lot of young people as well.
We are underway. Nuggets have it.
Or get to the free throw line all night. It's going to be a tough one for you.
Yeah, really tough for this young lineup. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut to make those.
Well, just think about it. He's averaging 26 points. He's shooting a solid 46 and 38 in the two main areas. But more important, he's added a better defense.
The Bulls playing really good basketball coming in here are not going to be a soft touch.
And they have a great closer in DeMar DeRozan out there. So you don't want this game to be tight and four.
Rockets still 4th in the league defensively in terms of their rating. 13th net rating in the league. The Spurs dead last in the NBA with their net rating.
Could not catch a break in the shooting end. And it comes off to San Antonio. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut.
Slowed down for so many of our young players.
Keldon Johnson is the Spurs.
Hayes and Wembanyama at the circle for the tip. And the Spurs will bring it across into the front court.
And as Valanciunas, who had his way against the Spurs when Victor was held out of that game with the sore hip. Then the tip-off presented by Pizza Hut goes to the Spurs.
Let's see if I can get to the very top and if he wouldn't notice me.
Well, Patrick Williams was lined up next to his old college teammate Devin Vassell. Vucevic backed out of the tip-off, and Wembanyama tipped it to Alex Caruso.
Victor and Jeremy out there in Malachi to get shots.
And he's coming off a 16-point game in 23 minutes against Dallas.
The official credit union of the Blazers. Visit firsttechfed.com/Blazers to learn more. Tip 1.
by the San Antonio Spurs, and we are underway with, because you guys have been, stars in your own rights, each one of you guys.
And I think that's one of the, when you start talking about the makeup of championship caliber teams, it's your ability, the organization's ability to go out and build out that bench.
Aaron Smith, Ray Acosta, the other referees.
Victor has Porzingis by at least 2 inches.
Season. Glad you're with us wherever you may be. Grizzlies coming off that Sunday loss to Sacramento, 123-92. The 6th time this season the Grizzlies had been held to fewer than 100 points. That happened only 5 times all year last year. Wembanyama taps it out of bounds. So the Grizzlies 17 on the shot clock if the Grizzlies get it back. But they do not. Champagnie works it up ahead. Jaren, and that's off of Wembanyama, and good hustle by Jaren to make the play to deflect it off of Wembanyama.
So jumping will be Brook Lopez against the 7'3" Victor Wembanyama. I say 7'3", he's got an arm span of over 8 feet.
As the game's played today, it actually matches up very well for him because there's a lot of space on the floor, and he utilizes his size, length, and overall ability very, very well. It's fun to watch.
Up front, the officials, Josh Tippett, Michael Smith, and J.D. Rawls, and we are ready to roll. Pistons wear traditional home whites.
Bob said he's just happy with the fact that whatever you want him to do, he'll do it. Come off the bench, start, defense, score, do that a little bit too. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut. It's the Atlanta Hawks and the San Antonio Spurs, who have already played once this year, with Atlanta winning back in late November.
Pop is being patient, but he's seeing progress as well.
Well, also what we saw too during that timeout, Jamal, when you saw Coach Popovich kind of coaching up.
Oh, yes!
There we go. Are also officials tonight. Sean Corbin in his 29th season and Suyesh Mehta in his 4th. Why do I mention Baltimore? Because the Ravens are playing tonight. Both of those referees are Ravens fans.
And here we go, the first of what we expect to be many sensational battles between Joel Embiid and Victor Wembanyama as the Spurs win the tip.
Holmgren and Wembanyama, a couple of players that will be inextricably connected for the rest of their respective careers.
Back in center court. That was a mandatory timeout, and it ends up.
How his team will approach Wemby since they've seen him already. And he said, I told my players, when you go to the paint, you better have a plan. Right. He goes, and my plan would be pass it. But Minnesota, they said afterwards they didn't play great, but they played hard, and they ended up pulling out the 2-point win against Brooklyn. They led that game 60-48 at the half, and they only had 36 points in the second half, yet win a game. As he has replaced Wes Unseld Jr., who was coaching the team when the Spurs met them a short time ago, and he has now been put upstairs as a front office advisor.
Hopefully we're going to be a lot cleaner, a little bit more polished tonight.
You saw Jamal Mosley, one-time Dallas assistant for 7 years, his 3rd year as the head coach there. He was averaged 19.5 against the Spurs in the 2 meetings so far this year. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut, and it comes to Jeremy Sohan. When they played in Dallas, all he did was go for 24, 23 rebounds, and 6 assists. Yeah. So Texas has been good to him.
John Attest on the second night of a back-to-back, and Heat Nation, off we go on another Miami Heat NBA adventure. And the Heat and Pacers with a 1-1 season series. Only 1 game left between them. That will be in Indiana in early April. Bam and Wembanyama, and Bam quick tipped it, and the Heat get it right back.
Cowboys could make their way in. All right, a packed house in Kia Center to watch the Magic and the Spurs. Wendell Carter Jr. saved his energy.
Victor Wembanyama in the center circle on a Saturday night in Brooklyn. We're underway, and Nick Claxton wins the tip.
I like it.
We have Wemby, and we got Jack Armstrong on a Monday night. Batted around and controlled by the Raptors. 3rd game in 4 nights for the Raptors as well. So
going to happen.
Yeah, it is coming.
It's in play.
Opening tip tonight, as always, is presented by Pizza Hut. Referees for tonight's game, Mark Davis, Andy Nagy, and Leon Wood, and we are underway.
Listed at 7'3", 8-foot wingspan. Here he is, jumping it up with Domantas Sabonis, and we're underway. Kings basketball to start the game.
Big game for the Lakers. They need to bounce back. Lakers are 15-11 this year in games following a loss. So let's see if they can keep that going here tonight.
7'4", 209 pounds, and the top shot blocker in the NBA. Collins will try to win the tip. The Jazz do. Sexton the steal. And great hustle by San Antonio to block that shot.
That when they play fast, they play the best. They're 7th in fast break points as well, so super important to get back. Operating versus drop coverage, they're playing drop about 70% of the times.
Spurs win the tip.
And he's fit in really nicely. His teammates have really adjusted to him, and this is a dangerous team. Again, though, I'm not sure they have the experience come playoff time.
Changed a lot since then, and so have the Pacers. But the Pacers, known as a team that are going to outscore you. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut.
They have been pretty good, and it's been a recipe for success.
Rockets again looking for their first back-to-back win since early January. The Spurs are fresh off 2 back-to-back impressive wins over Oklahoma City and Indiana.
Opening tip, as always, is presented by Pizza Hut, as the 7'3" Victor Wembanyama jumping with the 6'6" Draymond Green, and it's an easy tip win by Victor. So Victor Wembanyama and Jabari Smith Jr. will jump, and our opening tip is always presented by Pizza Hut as we are underway with Sean Elliott, Nate Ryan, and the crew.
And Jokic wins the tap.
Victor didn't look happy about that. Did you see his reaction?
For a guy that we talk about can't jump over the what? They're ending a 6-game road trip tonight and got in here and got to bed around 3 in the morning. Yeah. Hopefully the Spurs can put the foot on them tonight. Wemby with 3 blocks on the evening. A weary Brooklyn team headed home after this to end a 6-game road trip. Got to stop when they needed it, and we go to overtime. Spurs, 8-game homestand, had the first 2 here, 2 in Austin, and now the last 4 here in San Antonio. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut. Remember last year, even though Morant was out at the end, they went 51-31 before losing to the Lakers in the opening round of the playoffs.
It's like he tossed it backwards over his head.
Right.
Or Nurkic trying to steal it on the way up. Take your pick.
Tipped into the backcourt, giving chase is Jones. Tonight's tip-off presented by Pizza Hut.
(7-3-7-2). Wemby, there's the tip.
Will Hardy saw a lot of good things. 28 assists was one of those. It'll have to pass and move the ball again tonight against San Antonio. Collins against Wembanyama.
They've managed to keep the ship afloat amongst all the injuries. I thought they won the trade deadline. Really went out and proved their ball club, and they're going to be scary for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference.
As John mentioned, Robinson.
This is a special birthday present. And the Knicks win the opening tip.
Of the season, Spurs are minus a couple of starters. Jeremy Sohan and Devin Vassell are both out tonight for San Antonio.
Joker kind of dominated it, but listen, this is still a young kid, and I guarantee he wants to get back.
And Jokic steals the tip, and we are underway.
This is a must-win game by watching how hard the Pelicans are playing. Play with a sense of urgency tonight.
Yeah, because right now the Spurs are playing their best basketball of the season, and they're playing hard and physical, as you and I have seen.
Concentrate on the Spurs hopefully getting a win and continue their improving play down the stretch.
And he just made great improvisation to get an easy one. Oh,
and
boy.
off the tip, Oubre gives him the lead.
Great
Jr. tonight. A couple of big moments for KJ Martin in our first 5 minutes of free basketball. Second overtime underway here at the front.
Worked the All-Star game in 2019. Tom Washington, 33rd season, 181 playoff games, 4 finals games, 2 All-Star games, 3 All-Star games, I beg your pardon. Robert Hussey in his second NBA season after 5 in the G League. Glad you're with us wherever you may be.
Was able to win 2 games against them in their playoff run. Tonight's tip-off, as always, presented by Pizza Hut as the Spurs come up with it.